What's poppin', and welcome to Popcorn with Cholo Sediaren, your stop for all things pop. And this is your show for all things pop culture. Every week we discuss things regarding movies, film, joke, pareho lang pala yun. Movies, TV, sa Pilipinas, around the world, everything under the globe. And today I have a co-host, Denny, not
Hi.
Deanie. That's his Twitter name. And today, things are starting to get spooky here in Popcorn and in Radyo Katipunan. We start our SPOOKTOBERFEST as we talk about this month's much talked about film, Joker, and just some general spooky things to begin our spooky month here in the show. So, what's poppin', Dini? What's been up lately?
I am really loving the October vibe around everywhere. I mean, we're not a Halloween country, but I'm enjoying experiencing Halloween vicariously through everyone on Twitter, everyone online.
Yeah.
And it's nice that we have a month designated for like horror movies, horror TV shows. It's nice that they're having their moment because normally they're really, normally we think of them as like B attractions, but you know, now they're really having a moment.
Yes, actually. And parang as adults, I feel like now we have the freedom to actually just be spooky or be like into the horror costume or actually just costumes in general.
Yeah.
Parang I've noticed a lot of parties na parang wow, ang dami na gusto mag-costume kasi maybe when we were kids there weren't much opportunities to like go to Halloween stuff unless you live in like a
village,
gated village.
Gated village.
Mga village.
Yeah.
Hindi ko na sasabihin yung last word. Mga village. So anyway, if you're new here, thanks for listening. And of course, we'd like to plug all our other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, everywhere. You can listen to them. Of course, you can also listen to them, the back catalog of Radyo Katipunan on their own page and several other platforms. You can check that out on their Facebook page. So, ayun, before everything else, we'd like to have our popcorn or our pop. I can't say that word talaga sometimes for some reason. And the show is called Popcorn. Nakakahiya. Pop culture kernels of the week and our reactions to them. Is it a yes, a sax, a sad, or a pass?
Game.
So, pinakauna, there's been this whole thing on Twitter regarding gatekeeping of art. And it's regarding ABC, who's a famous typographist in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So, kasi the Van Gogh
Alive
exhibit is coming to Manila pretty soon. And there's been these series of tweets from ABC saying, ito verbatim, also for sure, puro pictures na naman yung hashtag content, and honestly, it doesn't give respect to the artists. There's a reason why most museums don't allow photography in the first place. Ito pa yung ibang sinabi niya, parang, I went to Art Sciences Museum exhibition before and really liked it, and also Team Lab, and they are really nice, but Van Gogh's work on digital screens. I'd prefer going to a museum. Anyway, yun lang. Speaking up because I'm a Van Gogh fan, someday makaka-Amsterdam din ako. And then, replying to another person, she's like, Van Gogh became super mainstream na kasi, but most people don't know his work as a whole, so IDK. I get naman the point of companies to combine the trad and digital experience, but it's probably my old-fashioned self negating this. Hehe. And then, to more people, for sure magiging IG backdrop yan. It's a marketing ploy eh. So, that's the tweet. Those are the tweets actually from ABC regarding the Van Gogh exhibit. Is it Van Gogh? Van Gogh?
I've always said Van Gogh, but I'm not sure.
Maybe the American way of saying it is Van Gogh.
Yeah. Maybe it's Van
Gogh. Van Gogh lang ng Gogh.
Van Gogh.
Anyway, So, actually, nag-apologize na si Abby
Yeah.
about it, saying, I would like to apologize with an S and not a Z
fine.
for the tweets
She's
regarding
British.
Van Gogh. I sent those tweets as my personal opinion, and I didn't expect people to get hurt or offended by it. I'm sorry to those who took it another way, and that was not the intention by all means. At the end of the day, art is for everyone, and it is up to us on how we want to consume it. Abby. But anyway, before that whole thing, it blew up on the internet. People are just saying, why are you trying to gatekeep this art for people? Parang, hindi mo naman pagmamayari yung art ni Van Gogh for you to like gatekeep it for everyone. I mean, what do you think about it? Obviously, this is very sad. It's a pass, obviously, because parang it's actually hard naman talaga. Some things you wanna enjoy for yourself, like movies you love, TV shows you love. Pero parang you don't have the right to just keep it. Parang keep or gatekeep who's allowed to enjoy that piece of media that you enjoy. What do you think about this?
Well, I'll be honest and say that when I saw that this was trending online, I preemptively muted Van Gogh on my Twitter because we've had this discussion about art so many times about all different kinds of mediums of art. Because I mean, I'm personally a film person, so the discussion I remember the most that reflects this is like, you should see movies in the cinema, etc. But not everyone can afford to do that.
Exactly.
So ultimately, we have this discussion all the time about the proper way to experience art, and ultimately I think that the important part is that we should make art accessible to everyone, however that is possible, given that it's not feasible to actually transport an actual honest to God Van Gogh from a museum to here without like a massive cost. It ought to be fine that we ought to be like cool that people get to experience it through digital screens if that's really the most accessible way we can experience Van Gogh. We can quibble about the right way to experience a certain piece of art.
Yeah, and she's not Van Gogh.
She's not Van Gogh.
Parang, di ba nga, in his lifetime, he wasn't even able to experience people experiencing his art. And now that it's a worldwide phenomenon,
I think he'd really like
classic art na siya.
Yeah.
Is it classic, modern classic?
Yeah, it's
if you'd call it that. I'm not an art person.
It's canonical.
Yeah, iconic na ganun.
Yeah, like Van Gogh honestly has always been mainstream, so she can't be all like he just became mainstream recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Starry Night might be the most famous painting that isn't the Mona Lisa. So
and we can't really like dictate how people actually like appreciate art, or yung parang not specifically TV and film, but like art like this na you know, their only appreciation of it might be to take pictures with it, off it. Parang, I don't mind.
Yeah,
I've taken a picture with the Mona Lisa myself.
Yeah. Take as many pictures as you want. I once lucked out into a trip to the Met and I took so many pictures.
Exactly.
I knew I might never be back, you know.
Parang, I'm excited for this exhibit myself. I mean, ako not to flex or anything, but I've been to the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam.
Nice.
It was great. But I'm also looking forward to see this digital version because it's gonna be a different thing. And if you haven't seen that Doctor Who episode about Van Gogh, seeing people appreciate his work, that's amazing. Watch that episode of Doctor Who series 5 of the revived series. That's episode 11 yata, if I remember correctly, because I love Doctor Who. Go watch Doctor Who in general. It's amazing. And Matt Smith is my favorite doctor. So, ayun. That's it for the Van Gogh ABC gatekeeping controversy. Pero last word about it. Parang, at the same time, I'm just generally having a problem with Twitter mob mentality and like call out culture. I mean, okay, let's call her out for this whole thing, and she admitted it naman na her comments were out of line, but to just like go on and on about it, to bash her, to hate her, you know, I'm just done with these kinds of Twitter things at this point.
I am very same. My personal policy is if they don't have a blue check mark, just don't do it. If they have a blue check mark, still think about it. But,
yeah, I
you know,
mean,
it's-
regardless. The cancel culture, not call out culture pala, but cancel culture na parang, okay, can't people change? Can't people learn? I mean, people change.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm very sympathetic to the people who do the calling out most of the time. I do think
I agree
they
naman.
get a bit overboard because I don't think we have a concept of how big the mob can get. Because we're just voicing our opinion, but that snowballs because 10,000, hundreds of thousands of us are
but
voicing our opinion.
sometimes it's below the line na the way they make fun of these people, and sometimes it leads to even sadder news, like what happened to the UP student last week. May he rest in peace. And that's pretty much an effect of mob mentality on Twitter. You can say that, diba?
Yeah, but it's just about being a very conscientious user of social media.
As with anything,
not being you hold your opinions and be true to your opinions, and call out when you need to, especially if they're the powerful or the influential. But just also be very mindful. It's a tricky line. It's not. There's no hard and fast
in
rule.
moderation, like as with anything.
Yeah, there's no hard and fast rule, but I'm very pro expressing your opinion, but also very pro understanding that there are consequences beyond your control.
Yeah,
it's
just
complicated.
Be a decent person. So yeah, that's it for our first popcorn. The next popcorn is the announcement of the PlayStation 5. So obviously this is tech news, and Sony has confirmed that its next generation console will be called the PlayStation 5. Surprise, guys. So it will be out holiday 2020, so we have a year to hug our PS4s. So maraming changes, including some rumble technology for the controllers,
the vibrating,
Yeah, and I think adaptive triggers also. That's what they're saying. I don't understand technology too much for me to go deep into this, but they're also saying that it has backward compatibility. Parang wala pa akong nabasa specifically about it in the press release so far, but that's a lot of the rumors that were circulating before the official announcement. So now we have an official release date, which is holiday 2020. I'm sure it will be hitting the shelves and parang mas sell out siya quickly. So I'm just gonna wait till the hype has died down. I'm happy with my PS4 and I'm enjoying the time I have with it. Na parang it's kind of hard to find time to play games in the first place. So totoo nga, PS5 I just googled will have backwards compatibility with seemingly all PS4 games. So that's great for people who already have PS4s and intend on selling them for the newer PS5.
Yeah, at least they don't have to sell their whole game collection to upgrade.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. I mean, when I went to the PS4, previously my main console was Wii U, which was kind of like
whole different
you can call it like archaic at this point na.
Yeah.
But parang I had to sell a lot of my games that parang I also bought na for the PS4 because it's like faster and everything. Yeah. So yeah, it's a yes for the PS5.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I haven't had a play console since the PS2 just because I've never felt comfortable investing in a console. But I do think that the PlayStation. I mean, I've played with the PS3 to PS4. I think the PlayStation is the best of the console games of the consoles rather. Great library, great
and exclusives.
Yeah, great exclusives, and the way it's set up is just it's how you play games. It's how like my muscle memory is still hooked to the PlayStation system. So it's nice that they have a PS5. I would consider getting it, but also a console is a big investment.
Yeah, so let's just see.
Yeah.
Baka manalo ka rin ng
manalo ulit sa office raffle.
PS5. Okay, next we have some local news. So MOMOLAND has signed a deal with ABS-CBN. So the K-pop group whose hits include Boom Boom Again. Sobrang laking hit nun last year or last year, and their other single, I'm So Hot, has signed with the network for a travel show, and one of their members, Nancy, who's part American or grew up in America, I think, will star in a tele-serye called Soulmate with James Reid. So, because of that news, James tweeted, "I'm honored to be part of this new project, Soulmate, on ABS-CBN, but please, guys, no love team names. I've already got Jadine." Wow. The power of the love that James has for Nadine. Grabe lang. That's all I'm gonna say. Go Jadine. I mean, yeah, it's pretty interesting news. So I'd say it's a yes. I'm excited to see how this Korean series or Korean-led series will turn out. I mean, they've done a lot before na if you remember, si Mario Maurer had a movie with Erich Gonzalez. Mga ganong bagay na movies, and I think it's gonna be the same. But will they adapt like a K-drama kind of vibe for this? Kasi may Korean star sila. So it's interesting stuff.
It's always like really cool. I mean, I personally am not the most knowledgeable person in terms of Korean pop culture, but it's always really interesting, I think, when different pop culture schools, like in this case Korean and Filipino, which are already pretty intertwined, they mix and create something new, and it's always really interesting to see how those dynamics play out, like whatever it happens.
And yung MOMOLAND kasi actually is really, really famous in the Philippines more than any other Southeast Asian country, I think. Kasi dito talaga sumikat yung Boom Boom, and because of that, they became famous or a bit more known in Korea, because the leading girl groups in Korea are, Twice and Red Velvet and obviously Blackpink. So all those yung mga leading groups, but because of Boom Boom and the Philippines, the popularity from the Philippines, they kind of made a name for themselves. So it makes sense that they'd come back to this market for even more content. And aside from that, MNL48, the group that was born out of the idea of AKB48 from Japan, also renewed their contract with ABS-CBN. So they've been getting a lot of attention internationally as well. They're all Filipino, but medyo J-pop setup sila. So if you haven't listened to MNL48, they actually have pretty catchy songs as well. So go MNL48. It's a yes for MOMOLAND and MNL48 with ABS-CBN. So we're down to our last two popcorns for the week. Number 4 is Rihanna is releasing everything but a new album. So the singer and Fenty entrepreneur is now bound to release a book, a 504-page book, coffee table book siya, with like 1,000 quote-unquote intimate photos of Rihanna's life. I don't think it necessarily means intimate.
Yeah.
Pero parang
just to look inside, what goes on.
Not that connotation is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And talking about the book, Rihanna says, "I'm so excited to share this collection of incredible images. I'm very grateful to the talented photographers and artists who contributed. We've been working on the book for over 5 years, and I'm really happy to be able to finally share it with everybody." Parang sasabihin mo rin about your album, but this time it's a photo album. I mean, kakalabas lang ng Savage X Fenty. I mean, Fenty Beauty is blowing up everywhere. And the only thing that people are waiting for is her actual 9th studio album, which nobody knows what it will be yet. I mean, it's been a great, it's a great couple of years for Rihanna.
Yeah. I mean, I do think Rihanna is one of the most culturally impactful artists we've had this decade.
Not just in music.
Yeah, and not just in general. And I think she's reached that level of clout where she can just be like, I'll release my album anytime and you're all still gonna listen to it. So, I mean, it's great that she's diversifying into all these different fields, and I think that's really great. That's really great and really exemplifies how important she is to the culture, that she can just take a little sabbatical from music, diversify her business interests, release a book, and all of these are just get people as excited. It's just a testament to how she's not just a musical icon but a cultural icon at this point.
For sure. And speaking of iconic I mean, yes muna tayo for this.
Yes.
But speaking
Definitely.
of iconic female pop stars, Lady Gaga made an interesting tweet recently. Ang sabi niya, I'm calling my next album Adele. So, nobody really knows what she means. The internet is also like going wild. Parang, what do you mean, Adele? And some people are saying na it might be some shade against her label. Because apparently, na move yung release ng new album niya for parang to accommodate Adele's new release later this year or something like that. So they're saying it might be shade, but you know, she might actually call her album Adele, have a collaboration with Adele, a collaboration album with Adele. We don't know, right? Lady Gaga, Adele. It makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Lady Gaga did a collab album with Tony Bennett, so
that was so good.
yeah. So like,
album.
I mean, she can make anything work. I think she's just such a great artist at this point. Just so she was really doing. I think every artist in the 2010s, every pop artist owes a little something to Lady Gaga, just by how she was willing to push the envelope in 2009, 2010, like the Stone
Nobody
Age.
was doing that.
No one was doing what she was doing, and
now we have Charlie XCX.
now everyone's doing what she's doing. But of course, like Adele is this whole different kind of pop culture icon. Adele, I think, has always been very singular. You know, she's always been like, you know, I'm a release an album every couple of years. I'm sad. I think like these
this is my
ballads,
age this year.
I sing like really sad ballads and I have this really incredible vibe. I don't need to do anything else. I'm just gonna show up in a nice dress and sing
a black dress.
Yeah, like I'm just gonna show up in like a shiny black dress.
And her accent, Cockney accent.
Cockney accent. It's just, you know, I mean, it would be interesting if it was a collab. It would be interesting if it was shade. Honestly, I love drama.
Legends.
So
talking about legends and working with legends.
Just whatever it is, I'm here for it. You know?
We're here for it. It's a yes as well. And speaking of Gaga, A Star Is Born soundtrack has now reached double platinum after a year of release of the movie. So congrats to Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper, everyone who made that movie.
It's a great film.
Super
great
good.
Film, great soundtrack. I still listen to it.
Shallow. grabe that last that last bit of her singing I'll Never Love Again.
I'll Never Love Again, and then it just
wow.
I think about that a lot, and that it just it's this really messy cut to Bradley Cooper singing at the piano, and it works because
I cannot
I mean, everyone I've talked to started bawling at that cut, and I think that's just a great bit of editing.
That was so
great.
good.
Such a smart cut, and it works because it's so jarring.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our 4th/5th-ish popcorn, and our last popcorn for the week. We just have a short in memoriam segment for quite a bunch of people who have passed away the past week in pop culture. So first of all, for fans of Queer Eye, the French bulldog Broly, known for appearing in starting season 3, has passed away.
R.I.P.
The French bulldog was 10 and died of a heart attack, and is actually owned by Queer Eye producer Michelle Silva. So, R.I.P.
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Next is Mr. Cholo Sediaren, who's a performance artist and cultural activist, just passed away 2 days ago. Syempre, we probably know him if you're our age, millennials siguro. Yung stunt na ginawa niya in Manila Cathedral, calling out Damaso.
Yeah.
And kasi that time yung church was against the RH bill, which is now a law. And he got excommunicated and like exiled from the Philippines for that. But you know, wow, the impact. Nangyari din siya. Syempre, aside from that, he's not just a historian, I think, but more of like a performance artist who had walking tours, or not just tours, but performances around Intramuros, with the If These Walls Could Talk tours. And yeah, he was 46 years old, died of natural causes. R.I.P.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Far too young.
And more from the Philippines, Mr. Tony Mabesa, theater veteran and educator, and appeared in a lot of films also. Most recently known for his work in Rainbow Sunset alongside Mr. Eddie Garcia. Sila yung gay couple doon. He also passed away October 4th. He was 84 years old. And lastly, Miss Amalia Fuentes, who's known to be the Elizabeth Taylor of the Philippines in the golden age,
Yeah.
I guess, was 79 years old, and she passed away October 5th. She's also the mom of Lizelle Martinez, an actress who also passed away a few years ago. So it's a sad
Yeah, it's
for
always
all these people
sad.
and all the families and the industry that they contributed to.
Yeah.
So we're ending the popcorns on a very sad note.
It's always
I don't
a
know if
real
I should have
bummer.
started with this or not.
No. I mean, it's respectful, I think, to have it in memoriam.
So a moment of silence for them. So there you have it for our popcorns of the week. Medyo napatagal tayo sa cancel culture and all that. We will go on a short break and be back with our clowning around here in Popcorn.
Keep it all in my mind. Time is so hard to find. I can't pretend it's not killing me inside. These walls, they can't contain the years I've grown and changed, and all these barricades won't melt away. Feel like I'm weak and I hate it. Sleep can't replace when my head's allowed to reach, and I try to feel liberated. Can't control my faces away. See me through a screen and talk about it. Know you'll follow me, and what about it? This still isn't me, and yeah, you doubt it. Compare, you can't compete. My heart tells me that this ain't right. My head's looking out for answers. Can't compromise your honesty to those who live without it. See me through a screen. Know you'll follow me. This still isn't me.
It ain't right, I tend to lose control. My thoughts fill up with memories that hurt my soul. They tend to hold a conversation for me. I leave them unread for sure, yeah, for sure, yeah. And I can open up my heart. I'm sick and tired of me taking it right from the start. I'm way too bad at luck, 'cause in the end I fall apart. And it restarts. I can't depart it. Feel like
And I hate it. Sleep can't replace when my head's allowed to reach, and I try to feel liberated. Can't control my faces away. See me through a screen. Know you'll follow me. This still isn't me. Compare, you can't compete. My heart tells me that this ain't right. My head's looking out for answers. Can't compromise your honesty to those who live without it. See me through a screen. There still isn't me.
Times change, cause one day you're here with me, the next day you're gone, and now all I'm left with is pain. Like, why did you leave? Why couldn't you stay? I loved you so much and then you ran away. I gave you my heart and you tore it in two, but I love you so I guess it's okay. Yeah, and I'm broken, and I'm hoping that I'll be okay by the morning. I'm falling, I'm longing, your love got me soaring so foreign. Can you please pick up this phone when I'm calling? Cause I'm in love. Girl, I love you, but you don't feel the same way. And now all I can say is you're the one I got away. Hey.
But you never felt the same. Girl, I love you, but you left and went away. Girl, I love you, but you never felt the same. Girl, I love you, but you left and went away.
You're breaking my trust. I hate you so much. Didn't know love it and you meant just lust. I just want you, I know you don't want me. I know with him is who you wanna be with. Whoa, but I know that it's me you think of when you get one on the weekend. So I hope you're happy now that we're apart. I should've known from the start. Then when it came to you, Cupid just ran out of darts. Now I'm all in our hearts. And this cause of you. Yeah. And this cause of you. Cause I love you, but you left me. Gave you my kisses, but you never kept me. If you're an angel, then why do you tempt me to bite the forbidden fruit while you undress me? But it's okay. Love is complicated in every way. If I give up what I have today, do you think tomorrow it will all fade? Or will my feelings for you always stay? Sheesh, can you see? God put you in this world for me. I don't believe that things are meant to be, but I believe it when you're here with me. Yeah, sorry, cause you don't feel the same and it sucks. And now all I'm left with is broken pieces of my heart that will always stay shut. Fuck, yeah.
Girl, I love you, but you never felt the same. Girl, I love you, but you left and went away. Girl, I love you, but you never felt the same. Girl, I love you, but you left and went away.
Welcome back to Popcorn with Cholo Sediaren, and now we are headed to our SPOOKTOBERFEST, the beginning of SPOOKTOBERFEST. So, you know, people all over Twitter are changing their names to some spooky related names, so might as well join the party of Halloween and October and everything and be 100% that witch.
I'm cursed with a name that isn't very easily Halloweenified. So I stick with it and I just try to embody the Halloween spirit. Yeah, right.
You know, scary name.
Yeah, I think like one year Jomny Sun did this thing where if you liked it, he'd come up with if you liked this tweet, he'd come up with like a Twitter name for you. Jomny Sun, the Twitter guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he came up with one for me, but I don't remember it, so I'm just gonna not change my name because it
Ako pag Star Wars season, pangalan ko Han Cholo.
Yeah, I mean that
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I couldn't think of a Halloween name. I still have the rest of the month.
You have the rest of the month.
Corn Stars, if you're listening, let me know what you think my Halloween name should be, and Denny's as well.
Yes.
Denny but spooky.
Yeah, I think I did that for like 1 year, but I'm like, I don't want to repeat. But yeah. I don't want to repeat unless it's good. There's some people whose some people whose Halloween names are just good and they repeat, and that's cool.
Well, Lin-Manuel Miranda says evil Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's pretty...
I mean, he doesn't need to. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, use your creative energy to write that third musical.
And
or whatever you want to do, you know.
Hamilton movie? Question mark?
Question mark?
I don't know. So, yeah. Happy month of Halloween to everyone. We have a lot of Halloween, October, Spooktober content coming
Yep.
your way.
Get hype.
I mean, nakita na ni Dini yung mga Denny pala. Nakita na ni Denny yung mga plans for Spooktoberfest. And
Get hype, get hype.
It's pretty interesting. I'm just gonna drop one plan, which is gonna be our top 10 Pinoy horror movies. Just like we had our top 10 Pinoy rom-coms previously. So that's one thing to watch out for, and there's a lot more to watch out for this Spooktoberfest. So let's just talk about clowns now. I mean, clowns are pretty scary and pretty Halloween. I mean,
honestly, very few things are scarier.
yeah. I mean, syempre, bata ka pa lang, birthday party mo, baby ka. And you're like, who's this clown? Why is there a clown? Why do you think our clown? We're just randomly talking about clowns now. Well, di naman. You know why we're talking about clowns.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
why do you think clowns what were invented?
Well, I mean, I think clowns really stem from the whole court gesture shtick, where only the court gesture was allowed to criticize the king. So I think clowns were always meant to be this sort of cracked mirror reflection of hashtag society. And it's always really, I mean, you see it in how they're generally portrayed. It's white makeup, like distorted
Happy
features,
faces,
like big noses, pale faces. Like the hair is usually red or
green,
some different color. So it's always this weird, unnerving version of humanity. And sometimes and for some people they find it funny, but I think generally we've come to accept the truth that clowns are scary.
Pero ironically enough, you were saying it derived, or parang one of its roots is the jester in court, or parang alongside the king. But now clowns are the kings of the world for some reason.
Right.
Parang
I get it.
Clowns have taken over, you know. I mean, hindi lang natin sila nakikita sa pop culture. You know, we live in the Philippines. This whole country is run by clowns. You can say that.
Yeah, the jesters have taken over the court.
Yeah, the jesters have taken over the court. You know, there's just a lot of parang laughing matters from people who you deem to be leaders.
Sometimes you just gotta laugh because you know it's the same kind of release as crying anyway.
Yeah, parang ang sad lang talaga. So we're here to talk about one iconic clown, but why don't we talk about some more iconic clowns in pop culture? I mean, aside from the Philippine government and the world government, a circus, sobrang parang there's no transport crisis in the Philippines. Ulul.
Indeed.
Parang hindi ba kayo sumasakay, or hindi niyo ba nakikita kung gaano nagsasuffer yung mga commuters? Ako personally, I can't really have the best take on it kasi I have a personal transportation vehicle. Well, personal transportation, I can't just say I have a car that I ride every day. I mean, sometimes I do take the MRT or ride a jeep, but that's not a lot of times. I'm in that privileged position. Syempre, you know.
Yeah.
And for people who should be looking out for other people of this whole country, parang nagloloko na lang ba talaga tayo?
I mean, I'm from a similar background where I'm very comfortably upper middle class. Yeah. But even in that privileged position, I feel the crunch of moving around in Metro Manila. So I can only imagine what it's like for people who have to commute, who have to catch the bus, who have to wake up really early just to catch the bus, or to get like low, if they grab, I guess, get low rates for the jeep to beat the rush. Yeah. It's ridiculous, and you don't generally think of it as labor, but it's time you spend traveling to and from work. If that's 2 hours of your day and you have an 8-hour work day or 10 or a 12-hour work day, you're essentially adding 4 hours to that,
and they just
which is ridiculous.
A list of the lowest quality of life in the world.
We are the worst in Asia.
the worst in Asia and number 3 on the list.
Yeah, it's a massive bummer, and really speaks to just the state of denial that a lot of the people in power want to
and yet they have trips to Russia and
are buying private jets.
Exactly. Parang ano ba talaga saan napupunta yung tax money ng mga Pilipino? It's just so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only here to comment, but hopefully some sort of public dissent will start happening once all these public transport things.
Yeah, I hope someone makes them realize. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not blind to it. It's just I hope someone makes them do something.
I feel like may kailangan lang talagang isang mag-trigger ng something that happens. I don't know kung malapit na mangyari yun or what. I mean, the LRT breaking down or like not having full operations was pretty massive enough to be a transport problem.
Yeah, so many people use that line.
Exactly. And that's one of your better trains to begin with. And, you know.
I mean, it's frustrating to be a citizen in a society whose government
citizen in a circus.
Really, in a circus.
Sad. So, sad. I mean, this isn't just a random place to diss the government, but it ties into what we're talking about this week in terms of pop culture as well. So, aside from the Joker, who we'll be talking about later because we live in a society.
Yeah, we do.
Ano pang mga iconic clowns na pwede na pag-usapan?
I mean, most recently relevant, I guess, aside from Joker, is Pennywise.
Yeah. From
the It series. Very unnerving. I unfortunately I haven't caught It Chapter 2 yet. But Pennywise has always been this really unnerving figure. I remember as a kid I watched the original It.
Yeah.
And that freaked me out. The Tim Curry version, that just freaked me out, you know. And
iba yung pagka-freaky clown ni Tim
Curry
versus
Alexander.
Not Alex.
It's not Alex.
No, Alex Skarsgård is like the super poggy masculado one.
Oh,
it's
his brother
Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård. No, that's the dad.
Oh no, Stellan is the
joke.
Dad.
It's Bill pala.
It's Bill.
But nawala sa isip ko kung sino yung.
Yeah, I know Stellan's the dad because he's the one in Mamma Mia.
There's a dad. It's the Skarsgård clan.
Yeah.
Anyway, but nawala sa isip ko si Bill. I just listened to a podcast with him like a week ago. Anyway, well, Pennywise, it really his version is just even like more terrifying, I think.
Yeah, it's terrifying in different ways.
Tim Curry is like a 80s kind of scary.
Campy, you know.
Yeah,
but
parang extra. Parang it's more of like an exaggerated sad clown, and Pennywise is like a monster talaga.
Yeah, it's like
you can say it.
Yeah, really sinister. While Tim Curry is just more. It's more campy, I guess.
Yeah, but
which is scary in its own right. You know,
I can say in It Chapter 2, I think I mentioned it previously in a previous episode of the show. Na parang I didn't appreciate it as much as the first part of the 2-part saga of the revived It. But it had its merits naman. And Pennywise, of course, we also have like Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons.
Krusty is very different though. He's not a scary clown. He's a sad clown in the sense that his life is really sad. I mean, as a Simpsons fanatic, Krusty's just this really burnt out celebrity who's estranged from his dad, and it's a whole deal. So Krusty functions as that sad reflection of society. He's just this washed up celeb. Which is a different kind of scary, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think all clowns should be scary. But speaking of scary,
all clowns disturb.
In some sense, especially for people who actually have clown
phobia. I don't know what the term is. I just say
we
clown
will search
phobia.
that now. Clown
I'm sure
phobia.
The term is
may
turn yan. I just can't remember.
It's called colorophobia.
Colorophobia.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking of scary clowns, I also remember I watched American Horror Story Freak Show, and they had Twisty, the killer clown, and that was another deranged clown. And yun lang. Captain Spaulding also, who's from a lot of different like pop culture things. I think several movies yata yun. If you like Modern Family,
Fizbo.
Fizbo himself, for fans of the show, which is ending with this last season.
Yeah, with this last
season 11. And I guess our favorite,
Ronald McDonald.
who's fast food icon.
Probably the most famous of the clowns.
You can say that.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Parang everyone as a kid has probably had that photo dun sa bench sitting beside Ronald McDonald. I think Philippine thing lang ba yung may bench tapos pwede kang umupo sa tabi niya?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's like a statue. I haven't seen a bench abroad, but you know, I mean, the Filipino thing I think about with Ronald McDonald is when you'd have like this birthday party and then a dude in a Ronald McDonald costume would just show up, and that always unnerved me.
Pero iba na yung version nila ngayon eh. It's like a cartoonified mascot. Instead of that, parang it's
an actual dude.
Yeah. Parang it's only, I mean, there's an actual dude inside it. Pero parang it's also, it's only like once in a blue moon where you get that one guy who
actually puts on the makeup,
clown makeup,
the wig.
Who has Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
So parang, you know, all these clowns parading around and scaring people. And siguro yung killer clowns din.
The killer clowns.
There was a time, if you remember, na there were actual
Is it 2016? This is This sounds like a 2016 thing. The killer clowns would be in forests with knives. They did a BoJack Horseman storyline on that.
Did they?
They did, like killer dentist clown. Season 4.
I just watched too much things to remember specific episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, I just mentioned the Doctor Who things very specifically earlier, pero
that's cool. I mean, you know,
anyway,
you're what's the term for a Who fan? Whovian.
The Who.
Yeah.
Ibang band na pala yun. So parang killer clowns.
Yeah, killer clowns. I mean, you know, we've pivoted as a society to clowns are scary, and finally people are on the right side. Clowns are scary.
They are. So I think may mapag-uusapan po tayo about clowns in general before we head on to our main clown of the week.
I'm excited to talk about
PRRD joke. The main clown of the year. Aside from a certain
I'm excited to talk about our main clown
out there as well.
Clowns everywhere and their fellow clowns parading around as well. So after all that clown talk, may isang break na naman tayo here at Popcorn.
Don't tell me to do you right. All I want is for you to get me through the night. And your face so beautiful up close to mine. Can I say you might fall in love, but I don't mind. Cause you taste so sweet, baby, let me through. Give me all of you, give me all of you. We both crave something new. Give it all to you, give it all to you. But don't say you love me, cause I've been drowning now lately. Sorry, I'll never treat you right, babe. Sorry, I'll never treat you right. Don't you love me? But don't say you want me. The pleasure might make it easy. Sorry, I'll never treat you right, babe. Sorry, I'll never treat you right. Don't you love me?
If you're moving closer, then I know I'm getting pulled deeper into your eyes. Boy, I want you for more than tonight. Sweet baby, let me through. Give me all of you. Give me all of you. We both crave something new. Give it all to you. Give it all to you. Don't say you love me, 'cause I've been drowning down lately. Sorry, I never treat you right, hey. Sorry, I never treat you right. Don't you love me? Don't say you want me. The pleasure might make it hazy. Sorry, I never treat you right, hey. Sorry, I never treat you right. Don't you love me?
I can feel your body, I can feel your body, don't leave the night. I can feel your body, I can feel your body, don't leave the night. I can feel your body, I can feel your body, don't leave the night. Hey. I can feel your body, I can feel your body, don't leave the night. I can feel your body, I can feel your body, don't leave the night. I can feel your body, I can feel your body, don't leave the night. Hey, 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 hey. But don't say you love me, 'cause I've been drowning now lately. Sorry, I'll never treat you right. Sorry, I'll never treat you right. Don't you love me? Don't say you want me. The pleasure might make it hazy. Sorry, I'll never treat you right, babe. Sorry, I'll never treat you right. Don't you love me?
Bakit ba di ko kayang talikuran? Mga nakaraan pilit na binabalikan. O kulang ba? Hindi mo ba nakikita? Mga pinagdaanan, sino bang nagsimula? Diba sabi ko ayoko na? mapapaisip at laging
And we are back here at Popcorn, your stop for all things pop. Of course, for SPOOKTOBERFEST, the first episode. And we're now down to our last topic for the day, which is Joker. Our main man, Mr. J. For the week at least. He's not my main man. I mean,
Kind of not the
we're
point.
not Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we go to this, I think I forgot to ask kanina. Do you have any like scary clown experiences?
I feel like I do, but I've blocked out the details from my memory. I do distinctly remember running out of a amusement park because either I saw a clown or a nun, both of which are very scary beings to me to this day.
Did you actually watch The Nun?
Yes, I did watch The Nun.
Which that wasn't so
It wasn't
good.
that good, no.
Parang Valak wasn't even there.
He was there, but
So
it was
much.
scary. He was, but it's like all the scary was gone from Valak, which is an accomplishment because Valak is really scary.
Yeah, pero parang
nawala
Valak
yung
was
mystique.
even scarier in
Yeah.
The Conjuring 2
Yeah,
than
because
her actual
Yeah.
movie.
I think when Valak started talking, the whole mystique just disappeared.
Ako parang wala akong maalalang clown story na nakakatakot for myself. I don't know. I think I'm super manhid na when it comes to anything scary at this point. I mean, I still do get scared, but
Nothing
parang
unnerves
personal
you.
experience na, I mean, failure is scary.
Yeah, I mean,
guess.
just these
But not everyone's pretty.
Yeah.
I guess everyone's.
adult fears, you know. Like the scariest scene I've ever seen in a movie, it didn't really involve any jump scares. It's from Hereditary. I don't want to get into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I mean,
Sa
I
ibang
could, but it's
episode
really
na lang tayo.
sad. It's the Hereditary scene where
Spoiler
the Wolf
if you haven't
brother.
watched it.
Spoiler. It comes in midway. It's where he neglects his sister, and his sister eats like an allergic like nut. And then she dies.
Yeah.
Like very adult fear for me because I'm an elder sibling. You know, that's the
Oh.
scariest scene I've seen in a
Yeah.
movie. You know,
Well,
different fears when you get
fears,
older.
indeed. So, okay. After our clown talk, we're down to our last clown for the day, Mr. J. So, this iconic Batman villain and arch nemesis has finally gotten his own film. Yung, as in, puro siya lang talaga yung movie. And let's not of course, we have to pay respect to the previous incarnations of this iconic Batman arch nemesis or just pop culture character in general. Previous incarnations of the Joker have been played by Jack Nicholson, syempre Heath Ledger, the modern day epitome of Joker.
Still
I
the
could say
best.
that. Mark Hamill himself actually voiced Joker in animated series, films, video games.
Yeah, very
that
iconic.
version of the Joker
That version might be the most.
I think yun yung childhood Joker.
Yeah, that's the
natin
childhood
si
Joker.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, drawn really pointy, and then with the laugh.
Yeah. The laugh, the
Yeah.
Mark Hamill laugh is just also different.
Yeah.
Parang very sinister yung Mark Hamill
Yeah.
take on it, but also very comedic.
Very comedic, very cartoony. It's Joker at his most unnervingly caricaturic. Like Joker is obviously not a person. In Mark Hamill's hands, he's this entity, this force of
He's
nature.
a monster.
And it makes that even more scary, even if it is like a kid's show.
And that Joker actually brought Harley Quinn to life, pretty much. I mean, diba si Harley Quinn originated from the animated series even before she appeared in comics. So I think that was paired with the Mark Hamill Joker. So, you know, Harley.
Birthed another iconic character in Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think Harley Quinn is one of the most popular DC characters aside from like, you know, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman,
Birds of Prey
Flash.
out Feb 2020.
Yeah. I just talked about the trailer last week. What do
Yeah.
you think about that?
I mean, I watched the trailer. First thing I'll say is very palpable that yes, a woman directed it this time. And I mean, Margot Robbie is
It's
one
gonna
of the,
be a more female.
yeah, it's a very female-driven picture.
And more feminist take on Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
for
more
sure.
feminist. I mean, I always hesitate to put up Harley Quinn as a
Feminist
anti-hero
icon.
feminist icon. Always very hesitant because she is very murdery. But I mean, Margot Robbie is one of our great young actresses, so
Grabe.
she can really.
I just felt
I
so bad
trust
for
her hands,
Margot
yeah.
Robbie. If listeners could recall that one episode where I talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a bit, there wasn't much given to her in that movie either.
Yeah, but I will. I mean, I liked Once Upon a Time, but I will say that Margot Robbie, given that nothing role, really just she added her own spunk to it. I think
she did.
Like, I don't think that movie works if Margot Robbie
wasn't playing
as
that. I know.
Like, I mean, you had to play an icon. Like Sharon Tate, for better or worse, is iconic, and Margot Robbie is able to embody that, even if it's obvious that Tarantino didn't give her a lot.
Yeah.
And that's just a testament to her skill as an actress.
Pero yun, I mean, it's exciting to see Harley Quinn on her own.
Yeah.
I mean, not on her own.
Not on her
I mean,
own, you know.
She has a girl squad now.
Girl group.
And like, syempre, a lot of people have been saying online na parang, oh, Joker and Harley's love is like the most ideal love out there. Parang,
It's not. I mean, it's one of my least favorite misconceptions, like misunderstandings
of what love is
of
supposed
what love
to be.
is, of
Hello,
what that
Father
relationship
Dakanay.
is. Yeah, it's I mean,
Sa
Joker,
Valentine's
Harley,
special, Father Dakanay will
Guess.
Father Dakanay will be our guest. To listeners out there who aren't from who don't know profs from Ateneo, Father Dakanay is our theology profs, and he tackles love among a lot of other things. I think magkaklase tayo dun sa...
Were we? But I think so. I think
we were
so.
classmates
Big
there.
Big class.
And were you the Beatles? You were the Beatles? No. Yes? No. Anyway,
I would never.
Maybe that's a fun episode where a priest dissects love seen in pop culture.
Yeah. We'll see.
In general. We'll see. February pa yun. So, hopefully buhay pa tayo by then. So anyway, and the last Joker, speaking of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, is most recently played by Jared Leto, and he himself is a very divisive Joker.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a interesting take on the Joker. It was new. It was method acting. It was crazy. I don't know. Ibang level siya. I'm personally someone who doesn't really... I mean, sure, I give constructive criticism, and parang sometimes I dissent some things, or I criticize some things, pero sometimes I'm just like, why can't we enjoy everything as they are and not hate it too much? I mean, the Green Lantern movie, I didn't hate it. Parang it was enjoyable.
I mean, most movies are okay. That's generally my
and yung comment pa ni I mean, this is not DC, but yung comment pa ni which see
full disclosure, I'm pro Scorsese.
Scorsese about the Marvel films not being cinema. That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing.
I agree to a certain extent.
I mean, I don't think it's an insult. I don't think it was meaning as an insult. It's not for him, especially if you're familiar with his work and what he likes. I'm a Scorsese fanboy, so if you're familiar with what he looks for in cinema, you get why he's not. You know why he would say that. I don't think he means it as a like we like theme parks. I like theme parks.
Yeah, pero parang ano rin kasi at the same time,
I get that it would rub some people the wrong way. Yeah,
for a much lauded director, one of the most critically acclaimed directors of our time,
of all time.
Yeah, I mean, the time we've been alive, he's critically acclaimed na basically. And parang for you to say that, syempre, James Gunn tweeted na parang, oh, I really look up to you, and for you to call my movie something like this, parang, it's kind of disheartening more than insulting, I feel.
I mean,
again, it's that parang struggle
Yeah, it's a
between
struggle.
highbrow and lowbrow
Yeah.
movies.
I mean, it's because Scorsese, I think, I bristle at the thought of people labeling Scorsese as part of the establishment, I don't know, as highbrow, because if anything, he's always been pro expanding the canon. He's always championed, say, film preservation across the world. Martin Scorsese is also his foundation is very much responsible for, say, the Blu-ray restorations of Manila sa Koko ng Liwanag, Insiang. It's his foundation that really helped fund a lot of this. So, I mean, I don't think Scorsese defends the canon as much as he's a very passionate movie fan who knows what he likes, and I think he's entitled to that opinion. I know how
Everyone is
rub some people the wrong way. I get it, but I also don't think he meant it as.
People shouldn't gatekeep Marvel movies as the end all be all of like movies.
I mean,
syempre, it's its own form of movie as well, and it has its merits technically. I mean, story-wise, I mean,
it's very well made. I think he also
who doesn't enjoy it.
He also said, well, Scorsese. He said it. I mean, he says it's very well made, and I think lang for me, I don't think it's gonna hurt Marvel at all. Yeah. So I think
ano lang siya, it's just like
people getting hurt about. It's just, I mean, Marvel is not the underdog here. So I lean towards the director who is the most critically acclaimed director of his time, but couldn't even get his movie made without Netflix. So that's the kind of movie landscape we live in. So I'm inclined to side with the underdog.
And who wouldn't want to watch his new movie,
The Irishman?
Let's go.
3.5 hours.
I mean, abangan natin yan.
It's gonna be out on Netflix, so I hope everyone gets.
I'm not taking sides here in this discussion, and hindi naman to side. We're not being sidetracked here because we're not being.
Everyone's valid, you know. Everyone. I think it was like really poorly covered. But it's really just he's a film fan. He has his opinion about movies, and
we all do.
Yeah, we all do. We all have our opinions about movies.
And
that's
not to be
what makes this whole thing
sidetracked,
fun.
but Joker itself is inspired by his films, diba?
More than inspired.
Yeah, I mean,
it's basically
Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver remake with a little. It's basically Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy smushed together.
So anyway,
not a bad thing in itself.
Ayun, so we're back to the movie.
Back to the joke.
Because we live in a society.
Indeed, a society.
And, this has been one of the more divisive films of the year.
Perhaps the most, I think.
Is it?
I think so.
For the year. Syempre, let's talk about The Joker, which is directed by Todd Phillips, who is most known for his work on the Hangover series. This is set in the 80s. Okay, for anyone who hasn't watched The Joker at this point yet, spoiler alert. As you know, in each popcorn discussion of pop culture, we spoil a lot. And this Joker film is set in the 80s, not necessarily canon in the DCEU, not as of yet. Yeah. We don't know.
Well, the DCEU is in a weird place. And they're really restructuring.
About that a bit later. Yeah. And it shows the story of Arthur Fleck, who becomes the Joker, like his trajectory into becoming the Joker and what he does as the Joker. So it's very moody, you can say that.
Broody.
And it's in Gotham City.
Yeah.
And I guess let's just talk about which side are you on in this divisiveness about Joker. I'm pretty much on the Saks okay lang ako side. I mean, it's been much talked about, and it's been talked about so much on the internet right now. If you can see Twitter, ang daming on my Instagram stories, people are like, spectacular, amazing.
Even Facebook, if it's reached Facebook, it's having a moment.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, this is brilliant, breathtaking, and all that. Yeah. My take is I enjoyed it. It's a supervillain movie. It's a great performance by Joaquin Phoenix, but it wasn't too compelling on my end. Parang there wasn't anything that moved me, or at least kasi with movies na has an anti-hero or like a villain, I don't know, this is a bad example, like Maleficent. Kind of like parang the point I think for a lot of these films might be for the public to have some sort of maawa ka or magagets mo kung saan nanggagaling yung character na yun. And which this movie does with Joker. You get where he's coming from. But there wasn't anything that really like compelled me to be moved by emotion. So, but I enjoyed watching it for sure. So that's my take on it. Ikaw, I think you have a bit less of a...
Well, like, I mean, it's well made. There are a lot of really remarkable shots in Joker. I think the movie is give credit where it's due. The way it looks, the aesthetic is really
so good.
So good. I mean, just the way the movie intersects these colorful, artificial, bright colors.
The costumes were so
great.
So good.
Like Joker's like little red suit.
I want that red suit.
And just the way it interplays with, especially in the last part when he finally makes it on Murray Franklin's show, the stairs, and then I think about the shot where he's waiting to be called out. I think about the shot with the curtains where he's waiting to be called out, and then the way the colors dance. I mean, I think that's the best shot in the movie. Yeah. It's a well-made film.
And that whole sequence.
Yeah, that whole sequence.
In the Murray show.
Yeah, just the whole Murray show sequence is well-made. And
speaking of the first Scorsese universe, Robert De Niro himself, who was in Taxi Driver
and The King of Comedy, which I would argue is
Murray,
like the key text. Name? Murray Franklin. Yeah. But, it's an exceedingly well-made movie that is terribly, like, it's awfully written, I think. I mean, I think the script tries
too hard.
There's a nuance. The statements it wants to make are very nuanced. It's an interesting dynamic, about how the rich perceive the poor and how the dynamic of the poor.
But parang it's just very.
But I don't think the movie's interested in that.
Depth into the writing.
Yeah, it's not interested in talking about, okay, so what exactly is Gotham's poor going through, aside from just the general state of being poor.
And he's a white guy.
Regardless of what, he's a white dude. And I think it's very convenient that the movie casts, like, the mobs are all in clown masks. Yeah. It's convenient because it essentially makes the notion of the marginalized monolithic, like, the marginalized are clowns.
They caught on.
Yeah. But it eliminates all the nuance, I think. And I don't think the movie is interested in that. The movie isn't interested in depicting a society in that it just wants to depict
society masyado.
A society,
It's a society as more of a setting than a character of its own. As parang Denny was here when we talked about Parasite, and that about society was definitely
that worked.
We live in a society, but that had encapsulated
and meaning
in one house with two families, and this one parang
like in the thing about, like, I mean, I've seen the Parasite comparison made, and I think what Parasite does is it actually gives us insight into what these people go through, unlike Joker, I think, which is very, I think, narrow in its focus, and it's not interested at all in describing the society in which we live in.
It just had a point it wanted to be made that, okay, this is the creation of the Joker, but aside from that, it doesn't really have much bearing into making people think
which
about...
frustrates me, because it so obviously wants us to think it's smart. And like, it's fine if you're a dumb Joker movie. I don't really, like, I don't need my movie smart, but I don't like it. I don't like it, and I think it's often, I don't want to use the word dangerous, because I think this movie is too boilerplate to actually be dangerous. But it's always,
and the media kind of wants it to be.
The marketing team is doing a great job. It scares me when a movie wants us to believe it's smart.
And parang I think the media wants the Joker movie to be like a starting point of some riot na parang people will be inspired by it or what, I don't know.
That's the That's the marketing team. I mean, I think they did the marketing team did a really great job to sensationalize this movie. But if you've seen it, you'll kind of get that.
We're kind of like on differing sides, but also on some.
I think we're the same.
Sides.
I mean, I don't hate it. I hate the discussion, but I don't hate it.
I mean, I wonder lang what people who love it actually have to say about it. I mean, if we had a third person on here who actually loved it, like, wow, brilliant. Yung mga nagsabi ng brilliant, breathtaking, amazing, all those adjectives.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean,
I get it. I mean,
that's it. I'm bothered
Joaquin
by
Phoenix's performance.
Wow. I get how that makes up for a lot. I think for a lot of people
deserves awards.
I think he does a really great. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is one of our great Oscar-less actors, and this is also like the most Joaquin Phoenix role
from the movie She. Did you see that tweet? Someone was like, "Yeah, ang galing ni Joker. Galing siya sa movie na She." Napanood mo ba yun?
I mean, Joaquin.
They're not wrong. At least they know about the pronoun.
Yeah. It's just the wrong tense, but Joaquin is. This is the most Joaquin Phoenix role. He's always playing the awkward white dude, and
he really embodies the character.
Yeah, you appreciate his physicality, and it's
the fact that he lost how many pounds? 80 pounds for this role.
Was it 80? I thought it was like 60, but like
Something
whatever.
Like that.
He lost like a lot of weight for the role, but beyond that, the way he moves, you notice that he carries himself with this fragility, and he builds this character really brick from brick. And I think that makes up for a lot.
If the writing isn't nuanced, his performance is
his performance really goes above and beyond. I would not
script.
I wouldn't be upset if he won like best actor, even if I'm not a big fan of the movie. I'm not a fan of the movie at all. I wouldn't be upset.
If you deserve it, you deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like last year's best actor winner.
Oof.
It's not lip sync battle with fake teeth. It's an actual performance with meat on its bones, and it's the one Oscar I wouldn't mind Joker winning.
And baka feeling ko kasi na, some people may have equated the brilliance of Joaquin Phoenix's performance, equating it to the movie itself. Parang madadala ka kasi sa...
madadala ka. You're really drawn into his world.
Yeah.
And you don't know that the movie like is trying to use that to say something bigger, but that it doesn't earn.
Yeah.
I think I'm most discomforted by when people talk about Joker as if it was a compassionate movie, as in is it a movie that cared, because I think there's this one scene that always bothered me, and it bothered me even more the more I think about it. It's okay, spoiler alert, it's the scene where he finally loses it, and then he's putting makeup on, and then his two co-workers visit.
Oh yeah.
And then he kills one, and that's fine because that guy was kind of a jerk. But then there's this one bit, and it's not a Joker thing. The other guy is played by a midget.
Yeah.
And then he tries to leave because Joker's like, "You can leave, you're the only one nice to me." But the lock is really high and he can't reach it. And I think that
he opens it.
that alone disqualifies the movie, I think, from any read of it's a compassionate and sympathetic, like it really cares about side, because this is a really mean-spirited joke the movie just throws in there for no reason, and I think it encapsulates that this movie is talking about ideas it is just not ready to tackle. It's a very mean film, which is fine if it weren't trying so hard to be not
Todd
mean.
Phillips.
Yeah, his humor is really mean.
Humor talaga.
And him on the press junket has been a disaster.
I mean, I talked about this last week by myself. He made some comments regarding
about how you can't make comedy these days.
Like, hello, Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Yes, Fleabag.
Pero parang
and
one of the examples.
Even one of his cast members, like Mark Maron, called him out on Twitter. If you can't punch up, punch sideways or punch yourself.
Yeah.
It's just
the fact that an actor from your own movie has to say something na parang dissenting your opinion on that.
Yeah, it's if you can't be funny without being mean to people who don't deserve, who are already suffering enough as it is.
Actually, marami rin talagang like small person jokes ang ginawa within the movie, right?
Yeah,
that one part where he was like, "Oh, weren't they looking for me as the perpetrator of the murder? And they were like, oh, because there's the killer wasn't described as a small person. Parang something
that's,
like that.
For me, I mean, that's okay, because I mean, everyone in the movie is a jerk and it's established.
Yeah.
But like the universe of the movie is mean with that one joke, and like I don't want to, not even to get into how the movie uses the women in it. Very, really bad. I mean, Zazie Beetz is wasted, I think, in a very gross way. I mean, I think if you notice,
even
all
the
of
mother of Joker, parang,
Frances Conroy is so good.
Yeah,
but
she is
wasted in, like, I think the movie asks her to play this caricature. I don't think the script cared about other characters aside from Joker. Every character is
one-dimensional.
One-dimensional. Exists to contribute to that origin story, and I just find that very uninteresting.
Yeah, totally. So
it's very
parang while watching it, while I did enjoy it, I kind of felt like, is this necessary to have this movie?
It's
parang okay.
I think the movie is just very. It's, you know how they say that, you know, there's a tendency for, like, especially like you can't avoid it with Joker as a white male. It's, you know, how everything's about them.
Yeah.
And I think this movie is about a lot of that. I mean, I don't see a purpose for Zazie Beetz or even like the two social workers in the movie aside from to function as someone who listens to him. He even complains that they don't listen to him. And it's obvious that the movie doesn't care about these characters. At the same time that it tries to pass Joker off as a stand-in for a frustrated lower class, when even the other members of its lower class, the movie just doesn't care about.
Parang yun nga. So parang there's just
all sorts of shoddy in terms of its writing, and it really, I mean, I think it takes away from a movie that could have been great simply because Joaquin Phoenix just brings it.
Yeah, parang he carries the weight. That everything else that the script lacks.
Yeah, everything that the script lacks, Joaquin just
elevates. He elevates it.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate that it distracts from a bad movie rather than supports a good one.
Yeah, so parang, you know, I'm just midway here. I'm not gonna say it's brilliant, although his performance was. I guess because we're talking about the Joker, I guess let's talk about mental health, because I mean, pretty much, I mean, not a spoiler, but the plot point or the character of the Joker himself is really a depiction of someone who's suffering through mental health issues. But, and today, the day we're releasing this episode, is actually Mental Health Awareness Day. Happy mental health awareness day.
Get some mental health rest.
I mean, parang, I just want to talk about that a bit. Syempre, yun nga, the Joker has always been an epitome of it, or di naman parang
Joker's always been this being of anarchy. So I mean, that's what I've seen. I'm not a big like comics historian, but this Joker movie in particular deals with mental health a lot. Especially
in the beginning, the opening scenes.
The intersection of mental health with class, which is again an interest a lot of its ideas interesting and abstract. Though I found myself left cold by how it tackles it, but it's interesting that it just
leaves it behind at some point.
I think it sticks with me that it's left very vague, especially now where we're very frank about mental health. It's something we talk about, we study, we dissect. For a movie like Joker to really just hide behind he has a mental health problem, and mental health problems when left untreated are dangerous, I feel like that's a step back. But the fact that it brings this intersection of mental health and class, I think, is an interesting idea that it just doesn't know what to do with. With a lot.
It's
an interesting thing to talk about.
I guess parang ako naisip ko lang, modern day Jokers. Not parang I think me saying epitome was like kind of like putting it out there. I mean, throwing it parang an exaggeration.
I mean,
pretty much. They're much more iconic.
Joker just reminds you of all the movies and TV shows that have done mental health depiction right. Shout out to BoJack Horseman, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. All these shows are complete on Philippine Netflix if you want to see how to really depict mental health.
And Pero parang I think for me, if I just have a good memory, na parang Joker can be seen as one person suffering.
Yeah, it is ultimately
Parang his
one person.
actions. That's why we have this Joker film to try to find his origins and where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Because all along we've depicted Joker as just point blank crazy.
Yeah.
And yun yung motivations niya as to why he wants to like make wreak havoc on
Some people just
Gotham.
want to watch the world burn.
Yeah,
Heath
yeah.
Ledger's Joker says.
Exactly. So parang maganda rin naman na may ganitong discussion na parang let's talk about mental health
Yeah, it's
a bit.
good. It's good to talk
And
about mental health.
yeah, parang at the end of the day, everyone has their moments of like mental health issues, some more than others. And ako parang take care of yourself, everyone.
Yeah.
And if you can't commit to yourself, look for other people who will help you. And there are a lot of like places out there. There's Hopeline you can call. There's your friends you can rely on, your family. But sometimes they're not enough.
Sometimes
you can go
it's
look
not, and especially it's a lot to put on them. Like you figure out, especially again in the since we're springboarding from Joker and the idea of mental health issues from like the lower class, from people who don't exactly have the means to seek out professional help. An interesting scene is when his medication gets cut.
Yeah.
So just springboard from that. I mean, it's just. Mental health is a personal issue, certainly, but it's also a very political issue, and I think
it is an issue.
It is an issue
Let's
that affects all of us,
that.
And it is an issue. I think I saw like a post about how it's one of the most neglected issues because it's not.
It's only come to light in the last
it's very
few
recent.
years.
It's very recent that we've taken it seriously
And
as an issue.
recognized it as an actual
As an actual issue that affects all of us, and it's good to understand it from a personal standpoint that we have to take care of ourselves, we have to take care of the people around us as best as we can without sacrificing taking care of ourselves, and we have to also be cognizant of aware that there's a political dimension to the mental health discussion, that sometimes it's not like the notion of good vibes feels shallow against it, but it's we're all doing our best. I hope we're all doing our best, and hopefully this Mental Health Awareness Day, you can not just be aware of other people's mental health or the way society conceives of mental health, not just your own mental health, but just this whole interplay between the whole complicated mental health discussion, which I am not like nearly qualified enough to get into the weeds of, but it's a discussion that is happening. I'm glad it's happening, and I hope that I hope that the end result is a glimmer of hope for everyone and accessibility for everyone to have to be fully to be able to address their mental health.
Exactly.
That's the
and
hope.
especially here in the Philippines, syempre, some people from the older generations will say, alam mo, magtiwala ka lang sa Diyos. Pagdasal mo lang yan, and everything will go away. Be happy and all that. But it's not the end all be all. Yes, religion has its role in our society, in our lives. And it plays a certain role and a certain hope. It gives you hope kasi talaga. But you can't completely rely on faith alone, because that's not the thing that will solve it magically. Jesus will just not snap a finger and make you happy or make you satisfied with how you're going your life. Diba?
Yeah. I mean, there's that stigma, I think, still with the older generation who don't really understand we're not comfortable with things we don't understand, I think, in general, and especially as you get older. So I mean, I try to be understanding, but also it's a discussion that is happening. It's backed by scientific research, and it's you gotta be cognizant of that reality. That you can't pray the depression away.
And siguro I'd like to talk lang a bit about some personal anecdotes about mental health, kasi ako, honestly, I just went through like a breakdown the last few days, two days ago actually. Parang I never really expected myself to be in that position, this position na parang I'm so down. I haven't felt this down in my life. I mean, I don't think I'm diagnosed with any specific mental health.
Like you're not diagnosed.
Yeah, I'm not diagnosed at all. Or I'm parang I don't think I have a lifelong like parang I don't know how to say that.
Chronic.
I don't have a chronic illness, a mental health illness. But parang at this point in my life, there's been a lot of anxiety that's, building up because of work issues. And the last 2 days haven't been as good. Parang, in fact, parang I wasn't even bent on like having an episode this week because of that mental headspace. And parang ako, perfect, we're talking about Joker, we can talk about mental health. And parang I never thought na my experiences ko yung ganun, kasi parang I'm this happy person you always see, but sometimes people carry it so well, and you can't really say na masaya siyang tao, and hanggang dun lang yun. Pero syempre sometimes people go through a lot, and personally grabe pala talaga yung na-experience mo pag ganun eh. Parang ako pa lang, this is just like probably low level anxiety, but that kind of anxiety na there 2 days ago I couldn't sleep at all because of that thing that happened at work. And that was just crazy. I was awake for 36 hours straight. I took a day off after kasi parang I just needed to relax and all that.
Right.
But
it's the right thing to do.
It's great that I was posting about it then on social media, not to ask for some sympathy or whatever, but a lot of people responding na hope you're okay, blah blah blah. I'm just happy that I know that there are people out there I can rely on. I mean, even my mom, I don't really parang syempre to them it's not a mental health illness naman, but the way you tell them is parang the work hasn't been there. Parang you just take care of yourself talaga, and just look after yourself, know whether the environment you're at is healthy for you, and just keep yourself going and try to push hard. And with things such as this show na parang this is my creative outlet where I get to talk to my friends and people I know about things that I love and things that people love. But it's important lang na we're all aware of ourselves, and we have people out there to look after us. Ikaw, gusto ka bang i-share? Sobrang din
Well, like, I mean, I've always, I think, struggled with anxiety and depression. Like you, I'm not like actually diagnosed, though. And I mean, I did ask my psych professor if she could recommend me a therapist. I mean, I was going through a bad time, but I've always struggled with anxiety and depression. It's a thing I've had to learn to live with, and it's helpful. I've found. I mean, my professor told me to trust my friends more. So it's this. It's good to have that support system. It's good also to understand. I feel like to see yourself. For me personally, I found that it's good to see that reflected in like the art I consume.
Yeah.
Like my favorite TV show is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which is which is just this fantastic depiction of just a woman's journey to recovery, and it's so real and very well researched. And put into song, which it actually interplays with the
really
mental
good
health
songs.
discussion. Really good songs, and that show is close to my heart.
Rachel Bloom is amazing.
Is a genius.
Another amazing showrunner and writer and creator.
Yeah. Just she's a quintuple threat. It's a show that personally means a lot to me because I have struggled with the same issues. Yeah. Well, not like I've never tried to kill anyone or whatever. Yeah. But like I've struggled with a lot of similar issues regarding self-esteem and stuff. And I think it's something. I think everyone. It's like not like everyone needs mental health in the same way that we all need to go to the doctor for physical checkup sometimes. I think it would be good if we could all go to like a mental health, go to therapy, kind of like a mental health checkup. But it's also understandable that that's not accessible to everyone. Again, I'm not a mental health expert. If you are interested in mental health, maybe follow Silakbo PH.
I saw that. Yeah. I've seen their page.
Yes, run by my friend Risa Coronel and her friends. So they're a really great resource for all things mental health and through a Filipino lens. So if you're interested in the mental health discussion in the Philippines, they're a good resource. I personally can only speak to my own experience, but I think everyone goes through bad mental health episodes the same way we all get the flu and the same way we all sometimes sprain an ankle. It's it's a reality.
There's just really some seasons in your life na parang regardless if you're the happiest person in the world or you live in Disneyland or whatever, parang there's gonna be some low points that lead up to the high points.
Sometimes it's not even caused by anything. Sometimes you're just gonna be bummed out for no reason. That's perfectly valid.
And I just want to say, I guess it helps to rant and to have people to rant to, kasi through that whole crisis I experienced that other day, I had my workmates, office mates who were amazing, who just like been there to like help me cope with that whole issue we were dealing with. And it's just great you just have to find someone. And like the Joker, he didn't really have anyone to like talk to his problems about, and if that was someone, it was an imaginary person, and he hasn't found Harley Quinn yet at that point in his life.
It's to put it into words is a great way of making it concrete, making it not
and to
scary.
Acknowledge it.
Yeah, you limit it.
Yeah,
it's not this weird black mass inside your head. It will
eat you up, kasi if you just keep it to yourself
certainly.
As well. So to everyone out there who's listening and may have their own issues, have been diagnosed, to all our friends out there, we know a lot of people are going through a lot of things, especially in this climate of things that are happening around the world.
It's a very stressful time to be alive and extremely online if you are extremely online.
We're here for you. And there are a lot of resources out there for you.
Yes, sometimes the resource is just your friend, but your friend, will be there.
Will be there for you.
Yeah.
Sabi nga ng kanta sa Friends. So, I mean, back to the Joker, I guess, after that whole mental health break that we had, it's helpful naman, I guess, to get to talk about that as well. And it's related to our topic, but speaking of Joker and mental health and Harley Quinn, do you think this Joker will ever have its Harley Quinn? Is it possible? Pero parang with the popularity of the Margot Robbie one, and
it's not, the timelines don't sync. Yeah, I mean, it's the DCEU is in a weird state of flux.
Yeah.
Like they replaced Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck. Amy Adams is also, I think, in limbo about her place in the DCEU. She mentioned this in an interview with Nicole Kidman. And
there's still an upcoming Flashpoint movie which will require a lot of the major players in the DCEU universe.
I will
what
say
does it
though
really mean?
that I am very excited for Robert Pattinson as Batman. Our Pattinson. our Patman, whatever. We haven't come up with a name yet. They
said that this Joker will be part of the DC Black series. DCEU Black.
Yeah, and Joaquin Phoenix is game to do sequels.
So, it's a separate mini universe. Yeah. It's super convoluted, the whole DC films right now. But parang, as of this airing that we're talking about it's not part of the canon.
Yeah, it's its own thing.
But what is the canon at this point?
Yeah,
even?
We're getting Wonder Woman 1984, but that's about it. I mean, I'm hyped for that. I'm excited for Birds of Prey.
Those two for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're getting an Aquaman
Birds
sequel.
of Prey will be part of, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Will you think Jared Leto will still appear at some point? We don't know.
We don't know because there's another Joker and there's
another Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it's a weird
time.
It's a weird time. Weird time for the DCEU.
parang, they should have just gone and copied Marvel and became good at it than just trying not to be Marvel and failing at it.
Well, I mean, I do appreciate that DC takes bigger swings. I will take Wonder Woman over a fair number of Marvel movies.
Oh, yeah.
Because it decides to take just such a big swing. And I think the DC universe is more open to hiring directors with like concrete visions, you know. And I think there's a way where that can be done right.
Marvel naman is trying to follow suit na rin with their choice of directors.
Yeah, I mean,
more recent films. As
I mean,
compared to the earlier
you have
ones.
Taika, you have Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
I think you have I think Chloe Zhao is doing
I think she's doing the Eternals or
Chloe-
Black
yeah.
Widow. Parang
Black Widow ba? I mean, I'm not sure, but I mean, Chloe Zhao, who did The Rider, one of the most critically acclaimed movies of like last year. It's it's a great opportunity, I think, and I think Chloe Zhao has a very distinct voice, and I hope Marvel preserves that the way that they were able to preserve enough of Taika.
Joke, hindi pala yung Black Widow yun. I'm not quite sure which MCU movie that will be.
I think it is The Eternals. I don't know who's directing Black Widow though.
Kate Shortland nakalagay.
Interesting.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, the DCEU is still being the Eternals nga. The DCEU is still it's trying to reform itself.
Retooling, yeah.
Yeah, and the Batman, I heard the one with Robert Pattinson will be another standalone film.
Yeah, it's not gonna. I know it's not gonna intersect with Joker. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so I mean, in the film itself, the Joker, it really also tries to tie itself with the Batman origin.
Mm-hmm.
And parang for me, that kind of felt
was forced.
cheesy
That
for
was
me
forced.
and forced.
I mean, I've heard a lot of complaints, and I personally didn't mind, but I also do think
I
that
kind of knew they were going there. Parang with the fact that they had Thomas Wayne as a character.
yeah, but it felt like Joker is in that sense just another Batman origin story, which kind of takes away from it a little bit because it's supposed to be like the other side of the story.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's really just another stealth Batman origin story feels like it takes the Mickey a little bit out.
We've seen that so many times.
Yeah.
Haven't you learned?
Yeah, Thomas Smart
Look at Spider-Man and how it rebooted itself without trying to
skip the whole Uncle Ben thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, I guess, for our Joker discussion.
Yeah.
Is there any last word you'd like to say about this film?
Not a fan, but I respect all your opinions. But I do think you should just, you should probably just spend your money on something else. Go Hustlers.
Hustlers is so good.
Yes.
So we'll be back with our last bit of popcorn after this break.
Maybe I've had my eye on you for some time. Wonder if a girl like me has ever crossed your mind. Hey, and I know make you mine till I'm satisfied. Baby, I'll show you what I can do. Tell you things you wanna hear. Everything I feel is clear. Baby, what's wrong with you? Been standing right in front of you, waiting for you to make your move. Baby, I leave it without you. Show me what I'm supposed to do. Baby, I leave it without you. Baby, I leave it without you. Show me what I'm supposed to do. Baby, I leave it without you. Baby, I leave it without you. Show me what I'm supposed to do. Baby, I leave it without you.
Chart-topping pop R&B artist Austin Mahone with hits What About Love, Say You're Just a Friend, Dirty Work, Why Don't We, and brand new single Dancing With Nobody returns to Manila. Austin Mahone live in Manila this October 22nd, 2019 at the New Frontier Theater. SVIP experience is also available, plus a chance to win a meet and greet pass. Ticket sales have started at ticketnet.com.ph, hashtag Austin Mahone 2019 Manila. And we're back for our last bit of popcorn. And we're here, of course, at our last segment, which is the Pop Stop, or our top picks and recommendations for anything pop culture that we have consumed in the past week. So, Denny, take the lead.
Okay, I've got 3 things. I just thought of one, like, during the commercial break. So first, I'd love to recommend this. If you have, like, the emotional energy for it, it's a very heavy show, but I'd love to recommend Netflix's limited series Unbelievable, starring Toni Collette, Merritt Wever, and Caitlin Dever, who both give such fantastic performances. I haven't been able to finish.
It's a Netflix original.
It's about the true story of a girl who was sexually assaulted, and how police didn't believe her and how that affected her life. It's such a tough watch. I haven't finished it yet, actually.
How many episodes is
8
this?
episodes. I haven't finished it yet. One season long. It's limited series. It's done.
Okay.
And it's such a difficult watch, especially because the movie is so accurate. It's very methodical in how it portrays it. Episode 1 is alone just an exercise in trauma, because it shows how even the investigation process can be traumatic. And I think that's something that is very real and something that should be discussed more. It's been getting some of the best reviews of the year. I can co-sign. It's spectacular, anchored with 3 great performances. Yeah.
Well, Toni Collette's there.
Toni Collette, Merritt Wever, who is honestly underappreciated, and Caitlin Dever. Remember that name? She might win an Oscar in like 10 years. We'll see. I'd also like. It's pretty old. It's been out a while, but shout out to Rad Astra.
I think it's still in cinemas.
Yeah, it's still in
cinemas
cinemas
out there. But if you're listening to this from the future, then you can probably stream it somewhere, or you have a download of it, or a DVD of it if you still watch
Definitely.
DVDs.
It feels like the kind of movie we'll look back 10 years from now and be all like, "Wow, we slept on that one." Brad Pitt is so good in it.
When I watched it, parang there weren't much people in the cinema either, but I couldn't not watch it, and that was an experience.
Yeah, it's certainly one of the most beautifully shot movies of the year.
Grabe, it was really good.
Just all those close-ups of Brad Pitt's face being sad, and you're like, wow,
that was another brilliant performance.
Amazing.
This year.
He's done 2 great things this year. He's the prohibitive favorite to win Best Supporting for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I think this performance deserves just as much attention, just in how he's able to tell
against
such a story.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin. It's a loaded field. Joaquin, Adam Driver, and Adam Sandler for their respective movies coming out in like December on Netflix. It's a loaded field, but I don't think Brad Pitt's gonna get nominated. I don't think he has. I think they're gonna focus on nominating him for Once Upon a Time, but I do think it's a performance.
Why not? If you can get nominated for more things, right?
Yeah, but it's a remarkable performance in a movie that isn't perfect. It's pretty messy, but I think it'll outlive a lot of cleaner movies. And third thing, go lang.
About Ad Astra, I think the part about what struck me the most, it really moved me, that last parang monologue from his character about how people, parang the relation of people and space, and how you need to appreciate what's already there and not what's out there. I mean, that just struck me so much.
Yeah, that's a James Gray special. His last film, The Lost City of Z, is also about,
or Z.
Lost City of Z,
wherever you're from.
It's also about like a dad who, like,
does he have a dad issue? Does he have dad issues? James Gray?
I don't know. He's always interested in
father
like stoic men going out to explore the unknown instead of going to therapy. That's his vested interest. So it's an interesting watch.
It's like Dora.
Just
he went to the jungle
instead of yeah.
If we also have an episode about that Dora movie, go check it out if you can.
Bangs, the Dora movie. It's
fun.
Good.
And your last record?
My last thing, I just thought of it. If you can get your hands on Phoebe Waller-Bridge's SNL episode
with Taylor Swift,
I highly recommend it because I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a genius, as the Emmys will attest. And
you have a copy?
I have a VPN, so I can watch the skits on YouTube.
Yeah.
But like the monologue is one of the best. Like, I'm not usually an SNL guy, but even Phoebe Waller-Bridge made SNL good. Like, that's
at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's so tired. But Phoebe Waller-Bridge is just.
I haven't seen her
not her be good.
But
her monologue palang is already like amazing.
I think that episode alone is just pretty solid with Phoebe and Taylor in one episode.
Yeah, I mean,
if you've seen the performances from Taylor,
yeah, they were really good.
They're super, super good. I mean, she performed Lover, the title track of her album Lover.
False God.
And False God. I mean, the Lover performance itself, na parang on a piano by herself, the way she wrote it, wow. Taylor Swift, I love you. And False God also for the first time live. Amazing. And I'm looking forward to seeing Phoebe's bits. Not Phoebe's bits, but Phoebe's.
She does talk about her bits. I mean, that's her humor.
Yeah.
Like, and I would follow that woman to the end of the years.
Earlier this week, out of stress, I just watched like Phoebe Waller-Bridge interviews for like 20 minutes straight or 30 minutes straight. I'm so fascinated.
She's a legitimate genius, and we throw that term around a lot, but like at the risk of turning this into a PWB love fest, it's just I can't think of any comedian, even any artist I'm more excited to see what comes next from than Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
And she signed like a new deal with Amazon Prime.
HBO.
And Amazon Prime.
Oh, and Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's more.
Yeah, she's doing an HBO show to run
coming out soon, and I was just so sad because I found out pala na the time I was in New York earlier this year was
her show.
Her show was there, and I haven't really heard of Fleabag at that time.
Me also. I was in New York at the time. I was
why?
Oh, man, it like previews. I was in New York in like March. Previews. I could have caught that, but
it's
probably
sold
not.
Out then
it sold out pretty quick because I mean she's a superstar. We love you, Phoebe.
We love you, and we love you, Taylor Swift, as always. Well, I love her. Go listen to that episode 13 as well. I think we're gonna have a Fleabag episode pretty soon as well, so go watch out for that. And for my pop stop this week, I have two recommendations. They're both music. First is the Super M mini album. So if you don't know what Super M is, they're a K-pop group, which is like an amalgamation of three members from three different K-pop groups. So they have members from SHINee, di ko alam, sorry K-pop fans, EXO and NCT. So 7 members from those. So the power of this and that mini album itself is so good, walang tapon, all bangers. So it's amazing. I'm not super into the boy groups so much. I mean, I do listen to BTS a lot also, but a lot of the other music I listen to are from girl groups. But Super M, they sold out they just formed this group, debuted this group, and they had a Madison Square Garden show right off the bat, and it sold out. I mean, if you have 7 members from 3 different groups, I'm sure it's like a super solid fan base already.
That's built in.
Yeah, built in, and the music video is pretty solid as well for their debut single dropping. It's like jumping and popping, dropping. They're dropping. So go listen to the Super M first mini album. Really great. And Love also just released his latest EP called How I'm Feeling. It's a 6-track EP with songs you might already be familiar with, such as I'm So Tired and ano tawag doon? I'm Lonely, and also there's 6 songs that are just Sad Forever is also there, Drugs and the Internet. It's just a mood. For me, it's a mood. I mean, sobrang nakaka-relate ako dun all the emotions that Love articulates with these songs, and that's what makes him such a good singer, songwriter, producer to me. Na the emotion, so much emotion, and it's still really good pop at the same time. And all 6 songs in How I'm Feeling will be part of a larger album, 21-track album. Imagine that. Next year yata. So that's Loud and Super M for me. And aside from that, we just released our September pop mix on Spotify. There's a lot of great music out there as well. Just go listen to it. Maraming OPM and K-pop as well, and collabs everywhere. So a lot of good music. Music heals. I felt better today just listening to music. And yeah, Araw Araw by Ben and Ben is a grower. I've been loving it lately as well. So those are my pop stops for the week. And that's pretty much our episode for the week about clowns, mental health.
A lot of things.
Thank you, Danny. It was a really great conversation we had today.
Love to be here.
We're looking forward to more episodes, and next week abangan nyo na lang kung ano yung makikita nyo. Syempre, go follow us on social media at Popcorn with Cholo, at Popcorn W Cholo on IG, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere you can find social media. Of course, our show and podcasts can be found everywhere as well: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you stream your podcasts. And of course, Radyo Katipunan, thank you as well as always. And you can also stream us there for our previous episodes, the video siya. And of course, just message us for comments, recommendations on what you'd like to see and who you'd like to see next here on Popcorn. So thank you guys for listening. See you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
I started a joke. Send in the clowns. Thank you.